Hi, this is Larry again with Get-A-Rate. I wanted to go over a question that's asked quite a bit from people that are looking to buy a house, especially for the first time. And that's how much can I afford? How much of a mortgage payment can I afford? How much of a house can I afford to buy? And generally, when that question is asked to a real estate professional, like a real estate agent or a loan officer, I think the rush is to kind of do the math first and figure out what the highest payment one can qualify for. And that's really not necessarily the best way to handle it, because I think the question, it really is more about how much house can I afford while maintaining all or some of my existing lifestyle. Because there's things I like to do, I want to do, there's things I have to pay for outside of the mortgage. So with all that being said, what can I afford that will make that happen? And I think a great tool to figure that out is our affordability calculator on our site at Get-A-Rate. And what this does is, first of all, obviously it looks at the basic information that we would need to come up with a payment, your income, what type of down payment you can afford, your credit score, obviously what type of loan you want. And so those things are obviously important and come into play. And then the monthly primary expenses. So these are the things that we look at when we come up with what's called the debt to income ratio. So things that are on the credit report, payments that are on the credit report. So like your car payments, like credit cards, student loans if you have those. Those things are the things, the basic things we look at. So the proposed mortgage payment and what's on your credit report. And that's where most people begin and end right there. But what we think is important to consider is, what about all the other things? The things that you have to pay for or would want to pay for. Certainly transportation costs, insurance, and gas are required things for most people. Utilities, your broadband, your satellite, your mobile phone, your home phone, things like that. Education, we talked about, entertainment. Maybe you like to, buy music and, you know, obviously go to shows and maybe concerts, things of that nature. Fees and charges from banks. It'd be amazing when you start to add up all the things that the credit card companies and others charge you for. Perhaps you have life insurance policy. Food and dining is a big one. Groceries, going out to eat at restaurants. Your lunch. Do you bring lunch to work? Do you go out for lunch? Things like that. Gifts and donations, health and fitness. Do you belong to the gym? Do you buy contacts like I do? Those things obviously are things that you want to do or have to do. Childcare, if you have that. Personal care, so getting your hair done. Uh, Pets, if you have a pet. I mean, that's sometimes very expensive. Food and going to the vet. Shopping, if you shop for stuff, if you have hobbies, if you go, obviously golfing, or if you go fishing, or whatever the case may be. Um, and then travel. I mean, most people want to take a vacation. So, how much is that typically? So all these things are things that we as a lender do not consider in your analysis of what you can afford in a mortgage payment, but they're still important because you're the one that has to pay these. And so, taking those in consideration is really an important thing to do. So once you have this all filled out, you can actually hit calculate here. And what it will do, it will show you what you qualify for, but also give you kind of a graph here at the top that shows conservative to aggressive. And what that's taken into consideration is all the other debts. So here's your monthly payment under this scenario and your debt to income ratio. This is actually pretty low. Most folks are over here, maybe at a 40, 43% back in debt ratio, maybe more. That's not necessarily extremely high for most people, but remember, the payment that you're going to make, the principal and interest, the taxes, the insurance, right here, sorry, the homeowner's insurance, the property taxes, all that is going to be, in this case, 43% of your gross income, not the take home, okay? So you have to keep that in mind. So when you look at this, the aggressive part of it is the fact that you have all these other debts, all these other things that you pay for, your lifestyle basically. These are important and you have to take those in consideration. So if you add those to what the payment is, then obviously that needs to be, something that you need to look at. In this scenario, you have about $1,680 left over per month, which is actually pretty good. So you could probably go higher than this if you want to. Whatever the case is, it's a situation where you have to contemplate what these other debts are, and if they're too high for you in this scenario, then you can always go back and edit them and try to start to budget for some things, get rid of some things, or lessen some of the things that you may do, so that you can afford the house and be able to be happy in living there, but also have a lifestyle to where you go out to eat, you can go to the movies, you can go on vacation, you can do things that are important for you and your family. So hopefully this was helpful. This is on our website at getarate.com. Be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks.